Welcome, my fighters. This might be one of the last fighters. Hello, hello, hello. We have a nice fire going. Jump on and grab a space on your mat. We're going to start it off like we do every class. So we switch the time to 7:30. So if you guys make note of that, that'll be every Thursday we'll switch to 7:30, just simply because we have that Zoom class. So we want to make it so if you're coming right out of the Zoom class, you can come right into yoga. So today we're going to do a little flow into things we've done over the past few weeks, and then I think we're going to work on a balance pose that we have previously worked on. So it'll be super fun. All right, guys, so what I want you to do as you come on is I just simply want you to find a space on your mat. You can come into a child's pose. You could be just simply seated if that's more comfortable for you. Personally, I'm kind of digging child's pose just because I can gently move my hips a little bit from side to side as well. So as you jump on, just find a space on your mat. And then I'm going to find and come back to where my knees are wide. I like to have my knees wide in my mat. And then just settle back into my hips as I come down onto the mat. So I'm gently just going to move my hips from side to side. I'm just going to kind of see how things feel. And just gently move and find a little space and just bring my head down to my mat. Take a deep breath into your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. And just take a few moments to settle into your space. Every day is kind of a little different, so I just go day by day anymore because I'm never quite sure how I'm going to feel that day. So if you need this time to just simply relax and breathe, you can always breathe and always come down to this position and just simply relax your breath and your body. So if you notice at any point in time during class that you are like, whoa, I can't keep up, or I just need to center myself and breathe, then you can come back to child's pose at any point in time, even if you just need to rest your body or need to rest your mind. So take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. And I want you to just do a little scan from the crown of your head or the tip of your fingers all the way down to your toes. And just notice how your body feels. Notice where your breath is going. And I want you to find 5 really big, deep, slow breaths. And I want you to work on your exhale being 2 to 3 counts longer than your inhale. So deep breath into your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Now find 4 more of those on your own. One more deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth, and then just slowly rise yourself up to tabletop. So let's start off with a little cat-cow, especially if we've been working from home and we've been staring at our computers and our phones way more than we probably normally do. So just find a little bit of movement, and then we're going to see how our shoulders feel, see how our hips feel, and then get ourselves moving. So I want to thread the needle, which we've done every week because it's a good one. So you're going to take that left hand to the outside of your mat. You're going to bring your hips over to the left. Find that little stretch in the right inner thigh. Bring those hips over to the right and roll that right arm up. Find that stretch from the fingers all the way down to that right hip. And then you're going to thread it through. So back of your hand, back of your arm, back of your shoulder. Find that nice little stretch. And then go 2 or 3 times in and out of that pose. Find the edge of that stretch. Find what feels good. And then that 3rd time or so, you're going to bring it all the way down. You can take that left hand and raise it high to the sky. You can bind it behind your low back. You can reach for your right leg and open that shoulder up. Whatever feels good to your body today. Maybe even bringing your left hand back down to your right and then raising it all the way up. Externally rotating and bring it back behind you. And then coming back here. So kind of like a modified alligator to shoulder mobility. So bring it all the way back down. We're going to bring it all the way back to tabletop. Cat-cow a couple times, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to take our right hand to the outside of our mat. We're going to bring hips over to the right. You feel that stretch in that inner left thigh. Bring hips over to the left. Raise up that left arm. Thread it all the way through. So back of hand, back of arm, back of shoulder. Find that nice little stretch. And then come in and out of that pose. So I'm finding a stretch in those fingertips all the way to my left hip and then threading it through, finding that stretch here in the T-spine. And on that 3rd one is when I'm going to bring it all the way down. If I feel good enough where I want to bring this arm up, I can. Or I can bind it. Or we can do that little alligator to shoulder mobility. So I stack my right hand on top of my left, raise my left arm or right arm up, and then get a little shoulder mobility by binding it behind my low back. Bring it back up. And it's just a great little way to get a little dynamic movement while you're being mindful about your body position. Bring it all the way back. Cat-cow a couple times. See how that feels. We should do one of these too. So I'll check who's here in a minute. So I'm going to bring it all the way down to where I would be in a cobra. But we're going to do this a little different. I'm going to bring my hands up in front of me, which I hope you can see me. I'll slide back. I'm going to bring my hands all the way up in front of me. My head's going to be down, so if I sound muffled, I'm going to be face down here. I'm going to bring my arms to shoulder height, and then I'm going to turn palms up, thumbs down, and then come here to my low back. Now notice how my shoulders are rounded forward. Just like we would in a cobra, bring those shoulders back and down, and almost like I'm going to bring my elbows together. And then I'm going to bring it back to center. Bring my hands back to shoulder height, turn palms down, thumbs will go back up, go above my head. Reach and stretch, and then we're going to do that again. So we're going to go shoulders, thumbs turn down, palms are up. Bring those hands to low back. Bring those shoulders back and down and try to bring those elbows together. Then bring it back down to center. Turn the palms back down, bring them back overhead. Do one more. So I'm finding really long length here, might have a nice deep stretch. And then I'm coming back to shoulder, thumbs down, palms up. Bring them behind my low back. Now bring my shoulders back and down and bring my elbows together as close as I can. And then bring it back down. Set yourself back up. Bring your hands to your sides. Curl your toes. Bring yourself up to your first down dog. So walk it out and see how those calves feel. Keep your ribs in and up and don't push them to the floor and overextend your back. And then I want to bend your knees. Gaze goes forward. We're going to step, hop, jump, float. Fingertips to shins will lengthen up. Exhale and we will fold. So check in and see where you're at right now, because we need to open up some hips. So be mindful and notice what your body needs and feels like right now. Then bend your knees, ground into the floor, roll all the way to standing, gentle little squeeze, go where you want to go. I'm finally warming up. So move your body. How are we? How are we? I'm gonna wave to everyone. Nice to see you guys. We're gonna do some fun stuff. So I might actually be warming up now. So come to the top of your mat. Come to the top of your mat. We're gonna bring the arms all the way up. Exhale, we're gonna fold them back down. Then we're gonna go fingertips to shins. We're gonna lengthen up. Bring your hands down, step back, hop back, jump back, whatever works for you. You can even go knee down, lower down, and then bring it all the way up. So shoulders back and down, find that nice stretch. Maybe gently move my head and neck side to side. I never do that one really fast. And then curl your toes, bring your hips up and back. Find that down dog and walk it out. So sometimes I'll lift up my hands and just see how everything feels. Engage each individual finger and press it into the floor. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'll do it from the side. In my down dog, I'm going to come up on my tippy toes and press away with the palm of my hands, and then come back down. Might bend and move. And if I want my toes, I like to have my feet together sometimes in a down dog. And what I'm going to do is come back up on those tippy toes, press my hands away, finding like a nice cat, and then coming back down into a really awesome triangle in my down dog. Now we're going to go and get that right foot up between our hands. You can do that any which way you want. You can either just come into a three-legged dog and bring it through, or you can do it the funky way. So I'm going to come up into a three-legged dog, and I'm going to come into bear crawl. So I'm going to bring that right leg underneath me. I'm going to lengthen my arms, lengthen my right leg high to the sky, and notice where my hips are. So if they're open up, bring them square to the mat. Then come up on the tippy toe of the left, bring that right knee in and up to your chest, round your back, come up on those tippy toes, maybe hop that left foot, and bring that right foot to your hands. Shimmy back your left. So from here, I'm going to lower down the back foot, I'm going to relax the back foot. And what I want to do, if I have a block, I have a block. I'm just going to come forward, but I'm going to watch this position of my body. I want to make sure that I'm not overextending and just pushing into that hip. I want to make sure that I'm actually really finding and isolating that stretch. So line up just like you would in a Samson stretch. And if you want to, if you have really good position, you can raise that arm up like in a Samson stretch. Or you can simply stay here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back, find a little stretch in that opposing hamstring, and I'm going to come forward. And I'm going to just connect my breath to my movement. So if I'm like, ooh, I'm tight, I want to think about breathing and relaxing my face as I find the edge of that stretch. Now, what I've found over the years of teaching yoga is that these three together, just 3 or 4 actually stretches together, work really well to open hips really quickly. So we're in this pose here, forward and back. You might feel great right now and be like, you know what, this isn't that bad. Then what I want you to do is walk that foot over to the outside edge. Make sure that you have a stretch here. So if you are like a box, you want to come up off that back left knee. Lengthen that left leg all the way down without overextending your back. Lower down the back knee. Relax the back foot. So this is where I'm going to keep my whole foot and my knee. I'm not pushing it out to the right side. I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to take a deep breath. And I'm going to exhale as I lower. So the goal is to not push out my knee just to get my elbow to the floor. So I'm not doing that. I want to keep it there and then use my breathing to come in and out. This is a slow one. This does not have to be done fast. So think about feeling the stretch here, keeping your ribs in, taking a deep breath and exhaling as you lower. And once you get to the floor, that's when it's kind of like trigger signal, hey, let's move it to the outside. So now I'm going to ride that outer arch of my right foot and open up my right knee. I usually have a block or two, just depends how open I feel on that side. And I have a deep stretch here, but I don't have any compression or low back pain because I'm focusing on not letting everything just push to the ground. I'm keeping those ribs in and up. I might do a little stretch I might come down just to my block. I might do that little gentle sway just to open those hips up a little bit more. So I'm really wanting to connect with my breath and just gentle movements and finding just the edges of those stretches and then easing into them a little deeper and a little deeper while keeping my breath under control. That's the hardest part. We get all like, whoo, and then our breath gets ahead of us, and then before we know it, we're not breathing into our belly, and then we're all go, go, go. So what I'm gonna do now is I know this left hip's gonna be a little tight. So I'm gonna ease back and hinge back that left hip. I'm gonna find a stretch quick in that hamstring. Might flex my toes. And then what I'm gonna do is bring my right leg back. I might hip circle my left if it feels a little tight. And then we're gonna go right into that 45-degree awesomeness that we do. So I'm gonna come up to a tall kneeling. I'm gonna bring my right leg out about 45 degrees on the heel. My left leg is not gonna be directly under my hip. It's gonna be between hip and shoulder, and I'm gonna be on the toes to stabilize. Always keeping this nice and engaged. Our stretch is gonna be in our inner right thigh. So I want you to think about taking a deep breath. Exhale as you press back that left hip towards the heel and find that stretch in that inner right thigh. This is that fun one that you guys love so much. And then I'm going to inhale instead of holding my face really tight. I'm going to inhale as I come forward. I'm going to exhale as I come back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. We need our hips open for the awesome thing we're going to do. We've done it before. I know you guys are going to be amazing. Or we'll find some version to get you there. Okay, so if that's starting to feel a little more loose, you're going to bring it back to center. You're going to hip circle it. Both or just one side, up to you. And then we're going to curl our toes. We're going to bring our hips up and back. We're going to find that down dog. So notice how I'm pressing through the palm of my hands, grounding into my fingers, and then pressing my hip back while I keep my ribs in and up. Then bend your knees. Gaze goes forward. Step, hop, jump, float. Fingertips to shins. Lengthen up. So ribs in and up. Find that straight leg deadlift. Exhale and fold. Notice the difference just from your right side versus your left side. And notice how much more open it is. If it's not super open, message me after class. I have some stuff you can do. Now ground into your feet. Roll yourself all the way to standing. Gentle little squeeze. Go where you want to go. Whether that's side to side, all the way around. Whatever feels best to you. Nice. How we feeling? Okay, we're gonna go do the other side, exact same thing. Because this side, if you got really farther to the ground, like I am to the ground, but the thing is on this side, I feel a lot more open. This side I'm still a little tight, because that is my naturally more tight side. So what we're gonna do, bring the arms all the way up. Exhale, fold them down. Fingertips to shins, we're gonna lengthen up. Ribs in and up. Stretches in those hamstrings. Plant your hands down. Step back. Hop back. Jump back. High to low. Reconnect. That's not good. Ooh, hopefully you can see me. If you can, I'm sorry. So you're going to meet me in down dog. My kids are sucking on my internet, I think. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side, but I'm going to come at you from the side so you can see me. So I'm going to come forward into bear crawl and lift that left leg underneath me. Lengthen my arms back, lengthen my legs back, keep my ribs in and up. Step my hands back if I want to get more into that right heel and calf. Then I'm going to come up on the tippy toe of the right. My left knee is going to come in and up to my chest as I round my back and hop a little bit on my right foot. And then I'm going to place my left foot next to my left hand. I'm going to shimmy back that right foot. I did place my YouTube video on how to work that in this group. So if you want to work on that pose and how to transition, go back and watch that video. So I'm gonna press forward into that right hip, keeping my ribs in. I can even take my hand on the top of my left, right above my knee, and just gently press like I would with a kettlebell and get a little deeper stretch in that right hip. And then when I'm ready, I'm gonna hinge it back. And I'm gonna find the stretch here. So we're just going back and forth, finding that stretch with really good body position, really good core engagement where we can still breathe, but yet find the edge of that stretch and relax our face. So we gotta open up some hips, guys. Does anybody have a guess of what we're gonna do today for balance? I totally know what we're doing. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I tell you guys to tell me, and then you're like, I don't know. And then we end up doing something like handstands. We're not doing handstands today. All right, so what we're gonna do is walk that left foot to the edge of my mat. I'm gonna go ahead and come up on the off the knee of the right. I'm gonna find a really good stretch, and then I'm gonna lower down that knee, relax that foot, keep those ribs in. This left foot and leg are not pushing out. We're coming 90 with the left elbow. I'm gonna take a deep breath. Exhale. And see where I can get. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale. Inhale, and just see where you can get. The third one will probably get me to the floor. And you're not pushing out the knee or the foot. If you can get to the floor, that's when you can slightly adjust and move that left foot in just about a hair, and then come to the outer edge of that left foot. So I'm opening up this side of my hip. I'm really not wanting to overarch. I want to keep at least a gentle brace so I'm not pushing into somewhere I shouldn't. So deep breath into your nose, exhale out to your mouth. You can do little head and neck stretches. You can gently go to one side and the other, but don't ever go into a pose really fast if you've never done it before and you're not sure how your body will respond to it. So I might just gently sway a little bit from side to side and just keep my breathing nice and relaxed. And then I'm going to slowly bring this left foot back, hinge back my right hip, and then I'm going to probably hip circle that right, not the left. The left feels pretty good. And then we're going to come to 45. So I'm going to rise myself up, and what I'm going to do is bring my left foot here. So I'm going to come about 45 or so degrees on the heel, but then I'm going to look at that right knee. That right knee needs to be between hip and shoulder, and then I use those toes back here to stabilize. So my stretch will be here. I'm going to take a deep breath. On my exhale, I'm going to press back in. Right hip goes to right heel. Left inner thigh gets that deep stretch. I make sure I'm relaxing my face, and then I just connect my breath to my movement. So just think about breathing and relaxing, finding the edge of that stretch. Don't tense your face up, and then just exhale as you go deeper into that pose. If you want a deeper stretch and you want to point toes as you come back into that, you can as well. Ooh, I think I know where we're going to go after this one. You guys are going to love it. And you can use a wall if you need to. I'll show you both ways. So when you're ready with this, you're just going to bring that leg back underneath you. Hip circle both or one. See how it feels. And then you're going to curl your toes. Bring those hips up and back. Find that down dog. Walk it out. Notice how those hips are all loosey-goosey now. Then bend your knees. Look at your hands. Step, hop, jump, float, shakti kick. Whatever feels good to you. Fingertips to shins. Lengthen it up. Exhale, fold. Notice how your hips have evened out a little bit. Maybe you're grabbing the back of your calves. Maybe you're still not quite there. Then bend your knees, ground into the floor, roll all the way to standing. Gentle little squeeze, go where you want to go. Okay. Ooh, gotta keep track of my time. So hello, hello. Tell me how your hips feel. If they feel amazing, awesome. Okay, this is the next one I want to go into, but we're at the top of our mat first. We're going to bring it all the way up here. We're going to exhale and fold it down. We're going to go fingertips to shins and lengthen up. Shoulders back and down. Those ribs stay in and up. Like I could have a party back here on your back. There could be glasses. We could have drinks, and this is where you are at all night. Plant those hands down. Step back, hop back, jump back. Same thing, table. Lower down. Find that up dog, that cobra. Then find your down dog. Legs and hips should feel all loosey-goosey. Now, I want you to bring your knees down to your mat. Sit back on your heels for a second. I'm going to show you guys. I've done this in the gym, and then I always forget the name of it. And somebody called this it's a funny name. I can't remember the name, but we're going to do it anyway because it's going to help with our hips. So there's two ways you can do this. I'll show you first without a wall. So I'm going to go wide with my legs, super wide as I can go. And then I'm going to flex my feet up towards me. So I'm wide with my legs, my ribs stay in and up, so I'm not overextending my back. And what I'm going to do is exhale and press back into that hip, both hips. Inhale, come forward. So it's like what we were doing with both of our hips, but notice my feet are flexed up towards me. They're not pointed down. So flex those toes up. If you want to laugh, because they were talking about crazy things last night in April's thing, is a guy, I don't remember if it was at this gym or the other one, called this the birthing pose, which of all of us ladies, you know, it is what it is. So if you need a little bit more help, this is kind of nice. You find a wall, or I'm using my fireplace, and what I'm doing is getting in that exact same position, but I'm putting my foot flat against the wall. Why? Is because I can now go wider and press into those hips. It gets you into a deeper stretch where you can keep those ribs in and up. Let's say you can't keep this up. You can always put a block here or numerous blocks here. In that way, it keeps you from pressing your ribs to the floor. So if you notice how I have a block right here, it's because I'm getting that stretch in the inner thigh. And man, the name of this pose is just totally blanking me. But it's a good one. And you can stay here or you can come forward a little bit. And then connect your breath. Exhale. Get into that pose. Inhale, you come forward. Exhale. And you work the edge of that stretch until you get a little deeper into that stretch and can open those hips a little bit more. Another good one, but I don't have a wall to show you, and I know you guys have seen Ashley do it at the gym a million times, is when you would be up against a wall, which I'll have to use this chair. So if you were up against a wall and you were here with your legs up against a wall and you can open wide, that is another way to get this stretch and keep your back on the mat, so therefore you're not overextending. So good ways to do that is with the block here, or laying on your back doing it against a wall. So we're coming out of that pose. However, you got to roll out of that pose. And then we're coming here. Do I still have a fire? I do. And we're going to cat-cow once or twice. Curl those toes. Press those hips up and back. Find that down dog. Then bend your knees. Gaze goes forward. You can step, hop, jump, float. You can even do Shakti kicks. And then fingertips to shins, lengthen up, including your head and neck. Exhale and fold. Maybe you're coming to put your hands underneath your feet and bringing those shoulders back and down. Or maybe you're grabbing the back of your calves. Or maybe you're bending your knees, rolling yourself all the way up to standing, and then going where you want. We're going to do an arm shoulder stretch. How we feeling? Tell me how you're feeling. Okay. So grab a drink of water, whatever you need. And then we're going to do a little shoulder stretch. And then we're going to do a little balance. So, I always forget the name of this. I forget the name of all my yoga poses right now, but we've done this before. So bring your arms up. Both arms up. You're gonna take palms are facing each other, and you're gonna go right arm underneath left and wrap them. Eagle arms. Hey, there it goes, comes back to me. Now we did this one before. Notice how if I'm way out here, I wanna think bringing my shoulders back and down. So packing that shoulder, having a nice flat back. And then as I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and bring those fingers down to my face. Now I might be here, doesn't matter. Might have a band and that's what's holding me together. The focus is not to look like this. Bring that shoulder back and down. Find this and not let these hands go in front of you. So when we come forward, you're gonna do that exact same thing. So release them for a minute, shake them out. Let's do that on the other side before we add anything into it. So we're gonna bring arms up. We're gonna take that left arm underneath right. Wrap them. See how I'm far away? I want to bring those shoulders back and down. So relax the shoulders back and down as you hug those fingers into your face. Find a little stretch. Right? This isn't our balance pose. Not our balance pose, but we need to open those arms too. Okay, release them, shake them out. Okay, now. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing, but I'm gonna not do a balance. I'm gonna do a hip hinge and have a little bend in my knee and find a stretch in my hamstrings too and check those out at the same time. So I'm gonna bring up both my arms. I'm gonna take my right arm underneath my left. I'm gonna find this first. So don't be here, because when we fold forward, you are also going to not lose this. So you're not gonna let this happen. You're gonna keep this here. And then we're gonna push that hip back. And we're gonna come right here and find a stretch in those hips and those hamstrings, as well as not doing this. So bring those shoulders back and down. Keep those fingertips as close to your face as they can. You can bend your knees. You can gently straighten your legs and gently go back to a little bend. And then bend your knees, roll yourself back to standing. Release your arms. Do a little side to side. Just let them kind of go where they want. And then we're going to do the other side, same thing. So I'm going to take left arm underneath right. Set my position. So if I'm just like this is not a good body position, right? I don't want to be like this. I want to think about shoulders back and down. Keeping this nice and tight right here. My feet are about between hip and shoulder apart. I'm going to then push that hip back, keep my arms where they're at, bring my shoulders back to find that stretch in between my shoulder blades. And I'm going to gently just find that stretch. I'm not going to let my back round like this. I'm going to bring shoulders back, keep them back. And then I can have straight legs, little bend, straight legs, little bend. Just depend what feels good to me. Then bend my knees deeply, rise back up, release my arms, and I'm just going to gently move. And let them kind of rock and roll wherever they want to go. Now we're going to do an opposing stretch to that, because we were stretching here, right? So now we're going to come back here, but do a similar thing with our legs. So our legs are going to look very similar to what we just did, but I'm going to show you this from this way. So when I come back here, this is what I see a lot of people do. They just shove this into here. I want you to think about bending your elbows. So if you bend your elbows and you're here, because I'm going to eventually have my hands together. If I bend my elbows, I want to make sure you see me. Yep, and I'm here. So what I'm going to do is have really good posture, number one. I'm not like this. I'm not like this. So I want to have nice posture. A little squeeze of your glute will get you there, okay? Now, notice my shoulders right here are rounded forward. I don't want that either. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have a nice posture. I'm going to have my hands linked together and then lengthen back and try to bring my hands together. Now when I want to come out of this pose, notice I don't just release my hands. I bend my elbows, bring my hands back to my low back sacrum, then release. A lot safer on my shoulders than it is to just crank it out. So what you're going to do is find your space on your mat or wherever you are in your house. Bend your elbows, fingers are back here. I don't even have my palms together yet. I'm going to lengthen my arms back straight, try to get my palms together without going like this, keeping a really good posture. And then if I want a little bend in my knee, I can too. Notice how my arms are still staying the exact same position they were. I'm not bringing them closer to me. Once I find that good position, then I might come further and find a deeper stretch. This is one of those ones where if I have somebody else pulling a little bit, I can get a little deeper in this pose, but you want to connect your breath. Now, think about when you rise up, you want to bend the elbows. Bring your fingers back to your low back, bend your knees, then come up safely. Then release the arms, shake them out. Ooh, little arm stretch. Then let's bring it all the way up here again. Let's exhale, fold it down. Fingertips to shins, lengthen up. Plant your hands down, step back, hop back, jump back, whatever feels good to you, bring it down. Find your up dog, your cobra, whatever feels the best to your low back. And then meet me in down dog. Walk it out. Bend your knees, look at your hands, step, hop, jump, float. Fingertips to shins, lengthen up. Exhale and fold. One more time, bend your knees, raise yourself all the way to standing, and go where you want. Okay, so 8:06, how are we feeling? Tell me how your hips feel. Do we need any more hip stretches before we go into a balance pose, or are you guys feeling good? Give me hearts or whatever feels good. Otherwise, I'm going to go into a balance pose because I think I feel pretty good about it. If you feel good about it, we're going there. And it's one we've done before. So if you need one more hip, tell me. Otherwise, we're going balance. No, Jocelyn's like, nope, let's go. Okay, so can anyone guess what we're going to do? Like, I don't know. We did tree last Sunday. We did handstands. We are doing, so have pillows around or something that if you need to fall, it's squishy. We're going to do crow pose. Now, I want to point out some things with crow pose because of the fact that I see this a lot with crow pose, and it's totally fine. Why? Because I used to do it. Everybody used to do it. It's just how we learned crow or crane. So, do you ever have bruises back here all the time? So that's how I first started with my crow, and know that it took me practice every single day to get it where it's at today. So don't give up, okay? If you're like, oh man, this is challenging. It is challenging, but you get better if you keep practicing every day. So crow or crane, a lot of people think it's bent like a tripod like this, right? So why you have bruises on the back of your elbows is because you're balancing your knee on the back of there. That's not really what you're doing. When I do this pose, actually I'm going to show you this with my toe. What I do is I kind of shimmy, and I'll show you, my knee as high up here as I can, and I use part of my knee and part of this as a shelf, and then I flatten my back out. So think about that when you're doing this, because it makes a difference. Now, if you can't quite get them up there, that's okay. I got ways for you to do that. You can have books, blocks, whatever works. So what I'm going to do is see first how my hips feel. See where I can get this, right? If I can get this up in here, that's where I want to be. Now, I might go wider with my feet. There's sometimes what people will do is make a triangle with their hands and feet. So they're like this. My feet would be together. And then I'm coming here and opening up here. So if you can get here, it makes it a lot easier where I can come up into this position. I might make my hands a little wider. So I want to have a nice base where I can have a base between my shoulder blades. So your feet can either be together or they can be slightly apart. What I want you to think about is just like you would breathe into your belly, right? You're going to inhale and lower to the floor. So you're going to inhale, bend your elbows, inhale here, exhale, press into your fingertips and come up on the tippy toes. Notice I haven't even left the floor. I am still inhale, exhale. This is an arm strengthener to also help you get to a handstand. But what eventually happens is maybe I'm here and then I'm literally kind of making a shelf and I'm going to come a little forward, but right when I come forward in balance, I'm going to lift up. And I might take one foot off. I might get the other one up, but notice how I am not flying my head forward. I'm pressing up, 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 keeping my ribs in and up, and then trying to make a table with my back. So if you're noticing yourself falling forward, that's because you're going forward. If you need blocks, it's the awesome thing with blocks, is if you can't quite get there, blocks will help you get closer. So with blocks, what I can do is come here, but maybe when I press up, I come to just a tippy toe, or here's my other tippy toe. But notice here, if I'm on tippy toes, I can be like, whoa, if I go too far forward, I'm gonna crash and burn. But if I press and keep my ribs in and up and I press, I can get into that pose. So take a break, try it. I hope you're getting it. I wanna know if you're getting it. But something fun that you can do too, I wonder if I can get into it, because I watched somebody get into that one. So this is crow or crane, and you're not going forward, you're lifting up. So think about trying to get yourself as close as you can here. Pressing through your whole hand, your whole foot, and then keeping that rib in and up. So if you notice here, maybe you get to something like this, where if you can get yourself to this position, but maybe you can't hold it, you can always put a block there or have a buddy help you. So let me know if you got it. I hope you got it. I hope you got it. Alicia, I know, was trying to get it. She crashed and burned last time, but she did really good. I'm hoping she did really good this time. So keep working that. See if you got it. Let me know if you got it. I'll do one more. We'll do one more. We'll do it from this side. So watch how I do this. If you're like, how does she do that? I usually bend, see how close I can get, and then I take part of my deltoid and part of my knee, and I just kind of reuse resistance against each other and flatten out my back, and then keep my ribs in and up, and then I fly and I press up, up, up. And then it's just a matter of breathing. And really keeping the balance on your hands. Woo! Then bring it all the way down. So stretch it out, stretch those wrists out. Did anyone get that? Alicia, did we fall this time? I'm curious if she did. She flew for 5 seconds and landed. Yes! Yay, that makes me super happy. See, practice. You keep doing that, even if it's for a few seconds, you will get it. It will just one of the, and then all of a sudden you'll be like, why am I suddenly floating into this? So, oh, that's so awesome. So you totally got this. Just keep practicing. This is why I'm happy that I brought crow back today. It's one of my favorite poses. That and handstands are probably my top two. All right, guys, so we're going to come to a down dog. Find that down dog. Walk it out. Let's actually come forward into bear crawl. Bring that right leg underneath us. Lengthen that right leg high to the sky. Step your hands back. Get down into that left heel and calf. Square those hips. You notice how my hips like to open? I want you to bring them square to your mat. Then come up on the tippy toe of the left. Bring that right knee in and up to your chest, to your hands. We're going to come back down into that low lunge again. So I'm going to train track my feet. My back left leg, I have a deep stretch in my left hip. I'm going to bring my block here because I know myself and I know I like to push into that front lumbar. So what I'm going to do is just find a nice stretch using my hand on my right, above my right knee, isolating that stretch in that left hip and just getting a little bit deeper into that stretch. And then I'm going to bring it back again and see how that feels. Wow, it's the hip. My hamstrings feel amazing. My hips are like, what? I've been sleeping too much. Not too much. I've just been laying and sitting more than I normally do in a given day. So now we're going to take the easy way. Left leg gets the easy. Just switch sides. So same thing here. I want to make sure I have a nice length and stretch. And like I'm finding a line, almost like a plank all the way down, instead of being like a box. So I don't want to be here because I can't get really far into what I want to. So I want to find that nice line and then come forward, find that nice stretch, and then hinge it back. Your hamstrings might be way more open. That is my hope that they are a lot more open. But we're just checking back in. Now, we're going to bring it back to center. We're going to find a down dog. Walk it out. Step your hands back if you need to. If you want to do a little Shakti kick, you can bring your feet together. You can bring your hands about a step back, bend those knees, keep those ribs in and up. Maybe you got a little hop. Maybe you got a big hop. Maybe you got a little mini hop. Just think about not freaking out if you do get here. And just remember, push your feet back down if you freak out and you get that handstand and you're like, oh my gosh, and you freak out. Just think about pressing your feet back, because what happens is gravity takes over and it goes, oh yeah, we're going back down here. So don't freak out, and goal isn't a full handstand. And then step, hop, jump, float. Fingertips to shins, lengthen it up. Exhale, fold it down. Nice. Bend your knees, ground into the floor. Roll yourself all the way to standing, gentle little squeeze. Go where you want to go. Okay. How are we doing, friends? We are doing well, and we did not crash and burn our crows today. Okay. So what I want us to do, I don't know if you guys have bands or not, or you can even use like a sweatshirt or anything you got, right? So let's do this. And if you have a foam roller at home, even more awesome. If you don't have a foam roller, that's cool too. If you do have a foam roller, grab it. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to do two things, possibly. We'll see. What I'm going to do is come down to my mat. And I'm going to lay down, but I want you to watch me first. So I'm going to bring this leg over, and I'm going to line this leg up 90 degrees. And I'm going to put my ankle on the foam roller. Okay? My other leg is straight. I believe this is how I'm at. Yep. So my other leg is straight. It's kind of like I'm doing alligators, right? I'm going to ground into this knee, ground into that ankle, so I'm not going to let it move. I'm going to keep that position here, and this leg's going to come straight. So I'm not going to have it way back here. I'm going to have it coming straight down through my leg. My head's going to be down. My left arm's going to be straight out from my shoulder. And what I'm going to do is just gently follow this here. But notice my back. Notice I'm not just going like this to get there, right? I'm not just twisting. I'm keeping that brace, and I'm grounding into here. So what I'm going to do is keep those legs grounded, follow my hand, keep a good position here, and see if I can get a little further. And we're going to do 3 of those. Connect your breath. So deep breath in, then exhale. Trying to keep this position here, not twist, just to fall. So one more. Deep breath in. Nice. Now bring it all the way back. If you want, you have a tight inner thigh. You can also bring that up a little closer and take 3 or 4 little exhales as you get into that inner thigh of the right. Now I'm going to switch sides. Okay, we're going to switch sides. Same thing here. So I'm going to go ankle, knee, straight leg. So you don't want it out here. You don't want it way back here. You want it coming straight out from the hip. Then I'm going to bring my right arm down, straight out from the shoulder. Head's down. Could be on a block if I needed it to. Now if my arm isn't, I don't want to push it here. I want to keep it just level, and then ground into the knee and the ankle. Exhale, open up. I don't get as far on this side because I haven't been doing my rolling. I need to do my rolling and my mobility a little more. Inhale, bring it up. And your goal is to just get a little further and reach that finger, those fingers of the left all the way out as wide as you can, and reach for the wall. And then you're going to bring it back. Come a little closer to that foam roller so we can get into that inner thigh. My right is way worse than my left. And if it feels like, oh, that's a whole lot of nothing, then we'll come off that. So just a little way to get a nice little stretch, and then we're going to take our band. So I think we've done this before too. You can take a band, you can take a sweatshirt, whatever you got, right? Doesn't even need to be a band. Look at that, I can take my sweatshirt and I can just use my sweatshirt. This is my brand new sweatshirt, folks. I don't want to wreck it, but it's a lot more comfortable than my band. So what I'm doing is just trying to find that stretch in that right leg. Now I might even bend the knee and bring my knee towards my armpit and find a little half happy baby. So my foot is like it's on the ceiling. Like I could stand on the ceiling with my foot here. Or I could bend that leg and just find a little half happy baby. My low back is all on the ground, my hips are on the ground, and I'm not overextending my back. Or I might just bring it straight up, or I might alternate. Straight and then bent. And then I'm going to bring it back to the top. I might roll my whole leg from the hip, internally and externally. And then what I'm going to do is I like to, because I want to find, I see this all the time, I see this. And this really is not the stretch we want to get, right? So I like to take my right or left leg and I bend my left leg. And what I do is make sure my right leg is straight up for my hip. And I'm going to open my leg to my right, but I'm also going to counterbalance and open my bent knee to the left and ride the outer arch. So I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to exhale, open up both at the same time. So now my hips become a teeter-totter. Now I can keep my hips and low back on the floor, and I'm not really compromising my back in any way. And I'm isolating that stretch in that inner right thigh. Now, if you notice the outside of your left hip is like, woo, what's going on? You would just bring yourself back to center, and then when you reset, you exhale, open yourself back up, and that tends to go away. So if you want this a little deeper, pull those toes closer to your face. Pull them back. Do whatever feels good to you. And then bring them back to center. You're going to bring both legs up. You're going to extend that left leg straight. You're going to switch hands holding the band. Right hand comes out to a T for balance. You're going to guide that right leg across your body to the left side, but you are going to keep both of your shoulders on the mat. So if you notice, you guys know I'm flexible. Do you notice I don't get to the floor? But the reason is because both my shoulders are on the mat. I am isolating the stretch in the outer right hip. So we're really honing in on those, the piriformis, the TFL, all those little tiny muscles that get shortened. And then that's partly what contributes to low back pain. So I want to not go like this. And I want to think about keeping my shoulders back and finding that stretch here. Flexing my toe if it feels good, pointing, flexing. And then I'm going to roll my ankle maybe a little bit. Bring it all the way back to center. I'm going to bend my knee, find a little half happy baby. And since we're right here, I am just going to, if I need my band, I'm going to bring it right here. And I'm going to bend and bring my right ankle above my left knee. I'm going to bend my left knee at 90 degrees. My goal is wanting to keep my back and shoulders and everything on the mat and use this left knee to hug in that right ankle. So your stretch is in your right hip. If you're like, I have to come here, then you take that band and use that band to bring it back. Or you can use your hands. Or sometimes what I do is I set myself up and I'll bring my hand here, but then I'll use this left knee to bring it in a little deeper, especially if I can't get my hands around my right leg. Now we're going to switch sides. So we're going to come back to a stretch first. So I'm going to take that band or whatever I got, and I'm going to set myself up on the left side. So what do I got? I got straight up from the hip. I might move my ankle from side to side. I might point my toe, flex my toe. I might move that leg in circles. And then I'm going to bring it back to center. I'm going to take a deep breath because what I'm going to do is, first we didn't do this on this side. I'm going to bend and do a little half happy baby. So I'm bringing my knee towards my armpit. Foot is like it could stand on the floor. So I'm not I'm not rolling it in, and I'm not rolling it out. It's flat like I'd be standing on the ceiling. And then extend it straight. Now, we're going to set ourselves back up for here. So, I'm going to have my right leg bent. I'm going to take a deep breath. On my exhale, I'm going to open up my leg to the left as I also counterbalance and open up my leg to the right and really isolate that stretch in the inner left thigh. But my back is able to stay on the mat. I'm able to stay engaged. If I feel like my right hip wants to come up, I just bring this leg up a little bit more. And then really focus on staying engaged and isolating that stretch. If you have a really great body position and you're ready to bring those toes a little closer, that's how it gets a little bit more intense. On that next exhale, you're going to bring that leg up. You're going to extend the right leg straight. You're going to switch hands holding your band, and you're going to bring your left hand out for balance. You're going to guide it across so your left hip can come off the mat, but your left shoulder should stay on the mat as well as your right shoulder. That will isolate this stretch right here. So keeping those shoulders back and down, I'm using this band and I'm using my elbow to pull this whole stretch a little deeper, and then thinking about relaxing my face and just simply trying to breathe and get a little deeper into that stretch. On that exhale, we're going to bring it back up. We're going to point, flex, roll, half happy baby it. And then we're going to take the band, if we need to, bring it behind our quad. We're going to bring that left ankle on top of our right knee. So your hand can be there. You're 90 degrees. If you need your band, awesome. If you don't need your band, that's cool too. So if I'm right here, I'm in a 90-degree position. So now what I can do is use this knee to push this ankle and get a deeper stretch here in my left hip and kind of open and then come back. Notice my right foot doesn't move. It's still at this 90 degree even when I'm moving here. So I might heel touch and then come here. Or I might just wrap right here and really find that deep stretch, but I'm still keeping my foot like it's on the ground, both feet like I'm standing. So I'm really keeping engaged in positions and isolating that stretch of that left hip. Nice, you guys. Now I'm going to release. I might hug both my legs in. I might extend them all the way straight. Let's bring our legs all the way down, our arms above our head. Find that nice, big, long stretch. Bring the legs up. Flex the toes back. Point the toes. Flex the toes. Roll your ankles. I had to check the time. Let's do one more. So take your left leg, make your left leg straight. Take your right or left hand to the outside of your right bent knee at 90 degrees and then just gently bring it over. This one can be a little bit more deeper than you were doing before. And then we're going to switch the other side. So this is just a nice little, see how, get them a little deeper into that twist after we already kind of prepped for that. That's one more each side. So left leg straight, right leg's at 90 degrees, right arm's out at shoulder height, and I'm just gently finding a little twist. It's kind of like a scorpion, but we're not on our belly. Then bring it back, give yourself a little hug. Let's rock and roll to boat pose, because that's super fun. So ways to do that is you rock and roll. And if you can hold it, or get to a V up, and you can rock and roll to those. I'm trying to rock and roll to find out the time. Ooh, it's 8:29. All right, so how we end every class. We want to have just a little bit of chill, a little bit of everybody relax. So I want you to find a place on your mat, have it a little quiet, whatever feels good to you guys. And all I want you to do is you can lay down. Honestly, you can be palms up. You can be taking up as much space as you want. You could be in child's pose, just chilling. Whatever feels good to you. I still have a little bit of a flame left. So come down to your mat. And all I want you to think about is just relaxing your hands, relaxing your shoulders, just letting go of every single part of your body right now. And just focus and hone in on your breath. So deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. And just take these moments to just breathe in through your nose. And as you take each inhale and exhale, as you exhale, just let and release your feet, your legs. Let your hips relax. Let your belly relax. And just turn your focus solely inward to your breath. And relaxing your mind, giving your mind a little bit of a break. And allow it to simply relax and release just like you did with your body. So deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Let your shoulders relax. Notice how open your hips are. Be proud of yourself for trying something and succeeding or getting, who knows, if you didn't quite get to that Cobra or that crow pose, it will come to you. So deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. And thank yourself for coming to class today. Thank yourself for taking some time for you. And don't ever feel like taking some time to stretch your body, to relax your mind. It is never a selfish thing. Especially when we're in the situation we're in right now and we're all home all the time. So just know that we need to take those little moments, those little hours, those little half hours for ourselves to go ahead and find a little bit of balance and a little bit of centering in our own heart, our own mind, and our own body. So thank you for joining me. And I hope that your body, your mind, and your soul just feel absolutely amazing tonight. So take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Find 3 breaths on your own. After that 3rd breath, you'll start to wiggle your feet. You'll turn yourself to your right or your left side. And then using the arm you're not using as a pillow, you'll use that to push yourself all the way back up. So I'm so happy that you guys came, that you guys had fun. And I hope you feel amazing. I will be back here again on Sunday. If there's any special requests you guys have as far as specific poses or working to a specific pose, please reach out to me. I love researching sometimes and figuring out the best way to build to a specific pose if we're looking at a specific pose that we want to build to. So great job on the crows today. I'll be back at you guys Sunday at 9 a.m. Our fire lasted this time, so yay, it might be one of the last ones. But as I end every class, our hands are going to come to heart center. The light and teacher in me honors the light and teacher in each and every one of you. So namaste, you guys. Have a wonderful, amazing Thursday evening, and I will see you this weekend. Bye, guys.